Now we're going to do a rhythm activity with ropes. Okay, so I have 3 ropes right here, and each rope is the same length, long. And we're going to call each of these ropes a ta. Ta, ta, ta. Each of these last 1 beat, and so when we put all 3 of them together, this amount of rope is the same to 3 beats of time long. Alright, so we have first ta, and we have second ta, and third ta. 3 different ropes, all the same length. But now, I'm going to do something magical to them. I'm going to change them into a different rhythm. Are you ready for this? Misterioso. You have to use a magic word like that that pertains to music. So misterioso, or presto, or something like that. Mágico, something that makes it very mysterious and magical. Okay, anyways, so now the rope in my hand, I haven't done anything to it, I promise, except change how long it is. So now instead of having 3 ropes the same length, we have a short rope, which we're going to call T, or an 8th note. We have an extremely long rope that looks sort of like it should be a dotted quarter note, or a tam. And the last one is the same length as our last one, so this is also a ta. Well, who can think of different ways that we can put these together to make different rhythms? Well, we have ta, ti, tam. We have ti, ta, tam. We have tam, ti, ta. You know what, that one's my favorite, and I already wrote it down on the board for you guys. Can you see? Tam, ti, ta. It's the same amount of rope, so it still takes up 3 beats, but the rhythm is different. And that just shows you how different rhythms can add up to be the same. And that rhythm is also different from beats. Okay, but anyways, you guys, you know what? We're going to go back to quarter notes. Is that okay with you? I'm going to change this back into quarter notes. First, I have to rearrange. Alright, and then I'm going to have to do some of my fancy magic. Okay. I'm going to take our tam. I'm going to put it up here. I'm going to take my ta. I'm going to put it up here. I'm going to take my ti. I'm going to put it up here. Alright, are you all ready for this? Alright, presto. Alright, now, all of a sudden, we have 3 ropes, the same length again, all tas, all quarter notes, equals 3 beats. Ta-da! Okay, so this is how I did it. You can use any sort of rope that you want to, as long as it is pretty soft, and as long as when it rubs up against each other, like this, it doesn't catch, and it can just, slide pretty easily. And then make sure also that the ends of the ropes, I have a special kind of rope, so I burned the end of the rope so that it didn't fray. You might have to glue it or do something to the ends of the rope so that they don't fray and they all look the same, so you can't tell which ends belong to which rope. Okay, and I'm going to start at the point where all the ropes are at different lengths because it's easier for us magicians to see how it works that way, although I started in the middle of the trick for the lesson because I thought that it is easier to explain to go from 3 tas to a more complicated rhythm than to go from a complicated rhythm to 3 tas. Okay, so we have these 3 different ropes, and oh, I forgot to tell you how long they're supposed to be. The long one you can make however long you want, but the other 2 have to be in proportion to the long one. So let's just say that my longest one is 3 feet long. I'm not exactly sure how long it is, but if it were 3 feet long, the middle rope has to be 2/3 that size. So my middle rope is 2 feet long, and the short rope is 1/3 the size. So it's going to be 1 foot long. Okay. And I line them up in my hand in this order: extremely long to medium to short, from left to right. Now I go behind here. Let me put it over here. And I bring the longest rope behind these 2 other ropes towards the audience, and I put the end up here with the other ends. And I keep these in order between my thumb and my pointer finger. Alright, now I'm going to take the medium rope right here. And I'm also going behind these ropes, and then I'm putting the end up. And then the short one, I'm reaching behind and I'm grabbing the short one, and I'm putting the end up here. Okay, so now what we do, we have these 6 ends in our hand, and we need to keep them in order. I'm going to take my right hand and I'm going to grab the first, second, and fourth end, and those will be in my right hand, and the other 3 will be in my left hand. And then I start pulling. Now you'll see that there's a loop right here, and so when I pull, the rope just slides through. It's very important that the audience does not see this loop, so make sure that your hand is in front of it, or else they will know how you do this trick. So I pulled, and now all 3 ropes are apparently even, but there's just a loop there. Okay, now to prove to you that I have 3 different ropes, I'm going to grab the single rope out, and the two looped ropes are still in my right hand. So I grab this out, I say, look, here's 1 rope, and when I go back to grab the second rope, I actually switch so that the looped rope is now in my left hand, and the normal one is in my right hand. But the audience just thinks that I grabbed the second rope, and now the second rope is over here. And then I go back and I grab the third rope to show that there are 3 different ropes. Okay, now to get back from the even ropes to the uneven ropes, I grab these 3 in my hand and I wrap this around my wrist, and I go back up and put these also into my thumb. And I make all of these ends about even so that nobody can tell which end is which. Okay, now I'm going to grab the short rope, which is part of the loop. I'm going to grab the short rope end and pull, and this is my T. And then I'll pull just the next end that I get. It doesn't really matter which one. And this one just happens to be the Ta. And the next one is my Tam. And that is it for the rope trick. If you have any questions, just ask me.